And this is the pallet barn that I've mentioned a few times, and it's been in the background of a few videos, but I've never really talked in depth about it. It's going to just be a quick pallet barn tour. I built this, started building it late April 2019, and I had it up in about a couple weeks. Roof took a little longer because I was doing it mostly by myself, but I did have help a couple days to get the panels in place. So it's about 13 or 14 feet wide and about 24 or 25 feet long. I don't remember the exact dimensions. I mean, I knew what they were when I built it. We got the Lambo windows. These actually came from an Amish auction. Really heavy duty, double pane, aluminum frames. And whatever height you set them at, they just stay there. It doesn't matter what the wind is. There's 6 windows like this in the barn, and 5 of them open. 1 of them doesn't. It didn't come with a frame. But the roof peak is just it's 8 foot on either side, which in hindsight I should have probably made it the roof panels a little longer, give them a better overhang. But eventually it's going to get gutters and rain collection and get sided or shingled. And when that happens, I will extend the roof pieces out by a foot or 18 inches just to give it a little overhang. Give you an idea of the backside before we go in. There it is with a little bit of view on it. And to give you some perspective from the barn, looking out that way is where the pallet and reclaimed window greenhouse is, and the blueberry hoop house, and the new garden beds. And the scrap pile of lumber, and the baby bunnies, and a cage for future something. And this is the backside. Because the tar paper blew off, gives you a better idea of how it was built. So it's just pallets stacked on pallets with 2x4s, sistering them in between. And the eave up there, that was just all scrap plywood from different projects, just reused to fill that in. The back end of it slopes downhill. So this pressure treated 2x4 I just leveled off on a stack of rocks and cinder blocks and bricks, and then sloppily poured some concrete in there, and then lagged this galvanized fencing wire all the way around the barn. Well, all the way around the half the barn, or a third of the barn. Well, maybe about half is a chicken coop. So the entire chicken side of it has all this predator fencing all the way around, and then the logs are there to hold it down. On this side, what I've been doing is filling it in with rocks and gravel and mulch just to get that wire permanently there. But as the barn goes along, about halfway it starts to level out with the ground. So it's kind of a gradual incline. All right, let's get in there. There's a start on this year's firewood. So, reclaimed door, free on Craigslist. A little bit of hay storage, some shavings, some diatomaceous earth, and yeah, it's not perfectly square, not 100% level, but it was other than some pressure treated 2x4s, the sistering 2x4s, about 20 pounds of screws and some galvanized brackets, and I think these 6 panels on the end, everything else is pretty much free. So we've got pallet on top of a pallet, pallet on top of a pallet, 2x4 framed in, another pallet, and then down here's a pallet. And let's go into the chicken coop side. Less stuff to block the barn. Hello, ladies. So the chicken coop windows only get opened in the spring, and then I just adjust them how open or how closed I want them. But in the fall, watch out, you little bastard! Stop attacking me! Ow! I got to take this piece of wood off, peel this hardware cloth back, so I can get to the hardware to open and close the window. So I just leave it open all summer, and then in the fall I'll close them up and make sure they can't open. But that's to keep raccoons out, and the predator fencing, which is on the opposite side of this wall, is obviously to keep foxes or anything else that would dig in. And this is this end of the barn was typically wet, well, before it was a barn, but because we do deep composting, which means we just keep adding wood chips and keep adding hay, it's pretty much turned into earth, and it doesn't get wet in here anymore. So this year we're not going to clean it out. We're just going to keep adding compost to it, or keep adding straw and hay. Look at this little lady making a nest. You're supposed to lay your eggs in the box. What are you doing? That's one of the little bantams. The bantams are about pigeon size compared to regular chickens. And we've got a bunch of little bantams. Those aren't babies, those are mini chickens living with the big chickens. And there's another waterer here, but its seal is leaking, so it's got a piece of curing, but that'll be coming back in. We do have LED shop light in here. We do put them on a timer and give them 12 hours of daylight all winter long, and we do get reduced eggs, but we do get egg production through the entire winter. And even though it does often get below zero for days on end up here, as long as I get the eggs in the morning, I haven't had any frozen eggs. So that's the chicken coop side. Give you an idea of how much, and that's the roof. And even the trusses, I think I did buy a few 2x4s for the trusses, but a lot of the pieces are, as you can see, that's a pallet. That's a runner from a pallet. That one back there is a runner from a pallet. It's a runner from a pallet. Tried to keep it as low cost as possible. Moving on to over here. These are two ladies we have left over from the last litter. And they generally don't have that much feed in here, but we are going away for a couple days. So I want to make sure everybody's got food and water. This old medicine cabinet is actually chicken medicine. A little motivational for the rabbits and the chickens. And then here's a rabbit hutch that we built. I'm going to lose that egg. And that is Baby Blue, because he's what they call a blue rabbit. And that is OB, Original Bunny. What's up, buddy? How you doing? And this hutch actually, oh wait, this is Big Mama over here. This hutch is actually, you know, when you go to a big box store like Home Depot or Lowe's and they have the Bonnie seedling plants for sale, if you stood this thing upright, this was a pine plant rack from one of the, that was thrown out behind one of the stores. So we took it home, turned it on its side, and put some wire caging on it and turned it into a rabbit hutch. In hindsight, I really should have put some machine cloth or hardware cloth down on the shelves on either side, just to keep the rabbits from chewing through it. But for some reason, the two males have not chewed through this one to the female, which is kind of odd. Anyways, this rabbit hutch is going to get redesigned, rebuilt, and we want to do a rabbit hutch down this entire wall, and then extend this rabbit hutch down the entire wall, so that we don't have this kitchen island or peninsula of rabbit hutch taking up a lot of the real estate in the barn. Down this end, oh, we have three beehives, complete beehives up there that we are going to get set up, but that's we got to get all the garden boxes in place, and we got to get an electric fence set up, and we're probably going to electric fence in the whole yard. But we have three complete beehives, 4 boxes each. So after we start getting the garden going full swing, we're soon to get the bees. This year, because of the Karachi virus going around, we were signed up for beekeeping classes, but it was canceled. So before I jump into it, I actually want to do that right, because I don't want to kill the bees. And what else we got in here? That is our rabbit food, chicken feed, hay for the rabbits, and that's pretty much it. All these cages over here. We have a Silky in here that's gone broody. She just continues to sit on eggs and not lay eggs. She just wants to be a mom and hatch eggs. So when we get back after the weekend, whatever egg she's sitting on, she's going to get moved, into here with her own food and water and her own nest, and we're just going to let her sit in there for, I think, 21 days and let her hatch the eggs. We did it last year. She hatched 5 of them, and then right after that she went back to laying eggs. So it's kind of cool. She gets to lay eggs. She gets to hatch some chickens. We get some baby chicks. And before we start adding more chicks to the pen in here, somewhere over in this area, we are going to put a door, and we are going to build an outside chicken run that's, I don't know, the length of the barn, so 24, 25 feet, probably out 30 feet. And that's where the pallet and reclaimed window greenhouse is, out that way. And there's the baby bunnies in that little cage right there. There's the greenhouse behind it, and there's the blueberry run and all the garden boxes. So got lots of several projects going at once. Yeah, this is where they live, and I want to open it up and give them 10 times the space outside to run around and eat fresh stuff. But that is that for today.